Greetings and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Angrynator show. Don Bluth. We all know him from classics such as Secret of NIMH and An American Tale. Well-known classics loved by all. But we also know him from more debatable stuff such as A Troll in Central Park, Penguin and Pebble, Rockadoodle, Bartok, Banjo the Woodpile Cat, and so on and so forth.
If you didn't know, Don Bluth is actually a cartoon genius who has created a lot of memorable movies for kids of all ages. Hell, even some adults likes his movies, but a certain pattern seems to occur. His movies from the 80s, loved by all. His movies from the 90s, loved by none.
It's sad, really. Especially when people think that poor old Don created that abomination Thumbelina. Yeah, you know, that movie with frog tits and the little girl in the big insect world. Yeah, what if I told you that that movie is pure genius compared to Tom Thumb meets Thumbelina created by Golden Entertainment? Oh yeah, Don Bluth is still a genius when you compare his work to what other people have made based on the same characters.
Ah yes, Tom Thumb meets Thumbelina is as weird as it can be. It was made in 1996, predating a lot of the shit shows that surround Thumbelina. Yeah, I don't recall a single good version of this little fairy tale being made. Makes you wonder how hard can it be to make a story about a little girl on an adventure in Giant's Land.
No, that is a big girl in Munchkinland.
I mean, come on, Japan made a version called The Secret World of Arietti, or借りぐらしのアリエッティ.
And that turned out okay, 7.6 stars on IMDb, so it's not too hard to create. So, why is it that the rest just sucks ass? Well, the only way to find out, I guess, is to watch Tom Thumb meets Thumbelina.
The movie starts out, not so surprisingly, with a stupid-ass song.
We are not even 30 seconds in, and the movie already decided it's too fucking boring. So, put in a sound sequence, you know, to keep the little brat's attention.
I swear, this must be the worst opening to any movie ever.
And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Angrynator, aren't you exaggerating just a tiny bit? Surely you who love theme songs cannot possibly hate this. Well, yes, I can. It's shit, it's boring, it has no charm, and it's long as all hell.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
2 to 3 minutes in of this Sound of Music ripoff, we are finally done with the singing. And the great meeting of the fairies and the other meadow creatures can finally begin.
And let me tell you, this meeting is utter chaos. No, not the topics or the opinions or anything like that. No, I'm talking about the editing.
Whoa, here comes...
You see? It's just terrible.
And we got a grey-haired Tinkerbell to start the meeting.
I mean, come on! That is clearly Tinkerbell.
Anyway, Miss Barbie Doll, or Thumbelina as she is called, is apparently the princess of the meadow.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking, and the answer is no, there is no queen.
Thumbelina has to do with the trivial, mundane stuff, such as who ate the queen bee's drones and who graffitied the turtle's back.
It's blue paint. Ugh, I wonder who did that, Bluebell.
You got no proof.
They actually solved that themselves. But it was just such a clunky way, I mean... Where did he hide that paintbrush? Up his... wing? No, never mind. The less I think about it, the better.
We then cut to the castle of King Richard. Yeah, we are in that time period apparently. Where we see our other protagonist, Tom Thumb.
Who has a flying motorcycle? Remember like 2 seconds ago when we clearly stated that this is King Richard's castle? Yeah, apparently the Knights of the Table Round uses bikes.
This is King Richard, and no, the motorcycle is never brought up again nor even mentioned. Hell, Tom Thumb uses a fucking mouse to travel later on. Anyway, the villain of the movie, or the king's son...
I mean, it's so not obvious that he is the villain. I just spoiled the whole movie for you.
But don't worry, this movie is before the time of Shyamalan, so no twist villains or plots.
No, they make up for that with incoherent editing and really terrible voice acting.
Bigger is better. This place is outdated. We need to get with the times, install an indoor swimming hole, a 12-carriage garage.
Oh right, this is Midwin, the king's son, aka the prince. He's known for things such as stale and mundane pop culture references, and really dumb jokes about that time period.
After being sad he's never hurt because he's a tiny little man, Tom Thumb apparently decides to eat a bowl of pudding.
I smell chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
While he's literally swimming in pudding, a crow, the prince's pet, is about to eat a Scottish mouse.
But I was just getting a few crumbs for the little ones. I wasn't doing no harm.
If it tries to imitate Irish, I'm sorry, it just sounds Scottish to me.
Nevermore, Tom Thumb. Nevermore will you be safe in this palace.
Yeah, I saw that Simpsons episode too. That makes me a smarty pants. Wait, am I wearing pants? Oh, I do. Good, carry on.
We then gets introduced to, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's playing the female chef.
You sweet fucker.
I know it's not actually him, but I mean, come on, couldn't I have found a more manly voice for that woman?
We then cut to Midwin making a deal with the leaders of the Saxons, who is a British enemy from way back when.
The movie expects you to know who they are, and so do I. Go read a book or pay an insane, god-awful expensive subscription fee to have it read to you by imitation Morgan Freeman.
So after some stupid jokes, to be honest, I do believe they want to say that they are making a joke here.
Let me have it.
King Richard and Tom Thumb is on their merry way through the meadow.
Without any gods, I might add. Yeah, the Saxons are attacking England, and the king is just casually walking on some nice flowers.
Some nice flowers.
Not before long, Tom Thumb meets Thumbelina in the most awkward way possible.
Hello.
Hello.
Who are you?
Oh, they're like preschoolers trying to act adult. I hate it.
Well, anyway, as you might be able to guess, while being invaded by the enemy and the king is outside his castle unguarded, he gets captured.
King Richard!
Yeah, no shit. I mean, come on, that was obvious as fuck.
So Tom the horse and the dog Duke returns to the castle to tell people what has happened.
Why am I so specific on who's returning and who is not? Trust me, you'll see later.
But funny enough, Tom is not allowed to help search due to his height.
I'm afraid this trip will be too dangerous for you.
I mean, the police officers has a minimum height in order to join them, so, I mean, why not the king's guards?
Oh, and Tom discovers that Midwin is not heartbroken by the news.
Didn't seem too broken up about his father being kidnapped.
While Tom is disappointed in his short stature, Midwin tears down the tapestry while spewing out some more lame jokes about time periods.
Ram, everything must go. What were they thinking?
After Midwin is done doing this, he travels to the meadow to discuss his new castle ideas.
While harassing the wildlife, though.
I'll bet you'd make some tasty turtle soup.
And we yet again have a bad movie with animals talking to humans. No reason as of why, nor any explanation, it's just there.
Seriously, think about it. Almost any movie with this concept is terrible, and why is that?
I don't know why, and to be honest, it was just a fun little thing I found and thought was really weird.
Anyway, the meadow animals tells of this horrific event to Thumbelina, who is the princess of the meadow.
I thought I wanted to remind you of that, since the movie does a really bad job at doing so.
Thumbelina, as smart as a Barbie doll now is, flies to the castle to settle this mishap.
Hello?
Wow, look at you! Hey Mo, get a load of this!
Oh my god, it's... To be honest, the movie does such a bad job that none of the actors wanted to be recognized.
Yeah, no shit, the only people who wanted their names on the movie was the screenplay writers. Anyway, Thumbelina finds Mid when they have a lousy talk about this and that. That is until Thumbelina rage quits and bumps into Tom.
Hey, where'd you learn to fly?
I beg your pardon? I think you're the one who needs lessons.
Yeah, this is the they are meant for each other scene, or the nagging and biting at each other scene. You know, in bad movies, those two scenes are really hard to tell apart sometimes.
I meet the most beautiful girl in the world, and she's my size, and she thinks I'm a creep.
Surprisingly accurate to real life.
Anyway, we now have a really uninventive scene. Yeah, that's right, Midwin barely said anything and now we have another song. This one has particularly bad singing about plumbers and electricians and other things as such. And that's not all, it's so uninventive, it's bland, it's boring, it just sucks the joy out of any musical you were watching at the moment.
Oh, you mean like minx?
Oh, you lean like a lynx.
No, I hate musicals.
By the way, they're even reusing content multiple times in this 2 to 3 minutes they are singing and dancing.
Kids are stupid, they won't notice.
So Tom decides to meet the fairies and help them out, while riding on a mouse that in a previous scene was the exact same size as him.
Weird.
Oh, also a funny note, the mouse appeared in the song in the very beginning and yet none of the meadow people knows her.
Consistency. Why bother at all?
Anyway, Tom Thumb, Thumbelina, Daffodil and other fairies, I really can't be bothered to look up names, tries to come up with a plan to stop Midwin's plan.
By the most diabolic plan ever to be schemed. It is so visually interesting and so amazing that Lord of the Rings is a cakewalk compared to this. It's so epic, it's so amazing that they just skip it. Yeah, no shit.
Hey, this is kind of fun.
This is the last party I planned. They're paying me peanuts, I tell ya, and they know I prefer walnuts.
That's it, they go off to become saboteurs and they skip right to the party. In hindsight, we should be grateful that they cut like 10 minutes of content. But at the same time, what the hell did happen? Was the clip made? Did they not think it was a good idea to show children? Did they just forget about it? Was it cut? What?
What the hell happened?
Come take my hand as we try to understand it. How far...
No love scene. This is bugging me. Why is probably the most exciting scene missing? What the hell happened?
Well, love scene, no biggie, resulting in a smile kiss.
The most romantic of them all, only 10% of your lips are connected. Couldn't be more romantic, I tell you.
That's actually something worth talking about. These movies love to censor shit to hell, like the construction worker eating black licorice instead of smoking, the whole vandalism scene being cut entirely, and usually they censor love scenes a lot.
Take a look at the first Yu-Gi-Oh series from 4Kids and then take a look at the original Japanese one, then you'll get an understanding of what I mean.
Medwin is mad that his building process has been halted and decides to lay out a...
Thank you.
And manages to capture all the fairies.
With the exception of 2, I think. To be honest, fairies is a really small population.
Anyway, Tom hitches a ride on a huge tit bird and arrives in the Forbidden Chamber.
No, that is the Chamber of Secrets.
Don't worry.
And I'm not joking, the fairies are captured for literally 3 minutes before Tom manages to rescue them.
Yeah, no kidding, there's no build-up, no pressure, it's just, oh no, I'm trapped, here, let me save you. Thank you, it's fucking shit!
The gang decides to split up as always. No wait, that's another movie. Well, anyway, they decide to split up and Tom and Thumbelina manages to find the king in the castle dungeon.
Oh, what is it, Duke? Oh, Tom! Oh, how did you get in here?
With Duke! Apparently, Duke got captured. Yeah, remember when I said who specifically returned to the castle? Duke, he was one of them. Yeah. So, they cut content. Did that in some way or another include Duke's capture? If that is the case, they should have kept it in. No, I'm not letting this pass by. Imagine, say, Star Wars.
The scene where they talk about destroying the Death Star, Luke's famous speech about it not being impossible and all.
Computer, it's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my...
And then... Yeah, that would have been a way better movie, am I right?
Anyway, the Meadow Dwellers has to neutralize the Sax's army.
Isn't this sort of like putting dragons up against fairies? I mean, the result would obviously be...
which is super effective against dragon-type Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon logic.
While the rest are off fighting, Tom and Thumbelina decides to attack Midwin to get the key to the dungeon. And Daffodil, I swear, turns more and more hippie in every single clip.
Make peace, not war.
You see, she started out as a rapscallion, but then in every single scene thereafter.
This morning, Daffodil, you didn't feed the hummingbird. That was some mondo happening, man.
Just such a weird character development.
Anyway, the fairy duo overthrows the false king and manages to free the real king.
I don't believe it.
And that's basically it. Well, that and the knighting ceremony, of course.
I dub thee, Sir Thomas Thumb, Knight of the Realm.
I know he's too small to be knighted by an actual sword, but couldn't they at least have used a butter knife or something?
It is an honor to serve you, Your Majesty.
And by now you're probably thinking, oh, the movie's over, time to find another shitty movie to punish the kids with.
But you're wrong, because they still need to find the lost prince. It so happens that there used to be a prince, but ever since childhood, he's been missing.
I'd like to give you something before you go. Something for you to remember me by.
Where did you get this?
I don't know. I've always had it. I don't think it's valuable or anything.
Yeah, that part is solved in like 2 minutes. And believe me, there's nothing else about it elsewhere.
It turns out that the only male fairy that isn't in the meadow is the lost prince. Go figure. And this means that Thumbelina and Prince Tom now have to rule the meadow as king and queen.
Yeah, they made the princess a queen. That is clear evidence that Disney and almost any other movie company, to be honest, had nothing to do with this.
Why do they call them fairy tales? We don't have tails.
Say goodbye, Daffodil.
Goodbye, Daffodil.
And that is the end of the story of Daffodil. Going from rapscallion to hippie to doofus.
It's clear to see what the problem in this movie is. It's loud, obnoxious, never gives you time to really enjoy anything, the pacing is off the charts. It's so afraid to lose the children's attention that they have to be loud and sing most of the time. The camera angles and, well, anything in that category is terrible. It feels like it was a freshman from the art college who threw this together in his first semester. You know, because he was lazy. It's incoherent, the cut content, if it was cut, is terrible that they leave out so much of the actual story. The animation is horrible as well, it almost feels like one of those crappy educational cartoons they made you watch in middle school. Only difference, this one you're learning even less from. While the art style is watchable, it has so many errors that you wouldn't believe it. Tom Thumb and Thumbelina is just a big fucking mess. Even the name is boring. Tom Thumb meets Thumbelina? Seriously?
Well, that was Tom Thumb meets Thumbelina. Yet another bad movie. I'm the Angrynator terminating bad movies for your entertainment.